Luffy discovers a box of cannonballs in the ship's storeroom and brings it onto the deck. Nami locates a location on the map where they can practice cannon firing. This tickles Luffy's interest. Then the episode transports Zoro back to his childhood. Zoro was a dojo challenger. When Zoro challenges the owner, Koshiro, he accepts but offers his daughter Kuina as his opponent. Zoro gathers a large amount of shinai, several in each hand and 3 in his mouth, to prepare. Even before the match begins, he has dropped 2/3 of the ones in his mouth. Zoro's shinai collection allows him to block the first overhand strike. The second vertical strike is more powerful and knocks Zoro to the ground, causing him to drop all of his weapons. Zoro stands up and strikes a fantastic 2-sword technique pose. The master and his daughter are clearly surprised, and they ask if he has ever been trained in kendo. Zoro explains that this is his first time holding shinai. He charges at Kuina, but is smacked between the eyes and loses. He then joins the dojo and vows to one day defeat Kuina. Kuina informs Zoro that he will need to train for several years before he can fight with 2 swords. A training montage is shown in which Zoro works himself to fatigue every day, regardless of whether it is hazily hot or chillingly cold. In addition to swatting a training post, Zoro is seen fighting off adult male dojo members competently. He stands on a pair of rocks with a stream running between them. A bite in his mouth is rope tied to a large boulder, to strengthen his biting muscles, as well as legs and torso. Kuina can be seen watching him from the shadows while he is training. The scene then shifts to Zoro losing his 2000th fight in a row to Kuina. She then describes him as weak. The younger male students remark that he is not weak and can destroy adult students. They then ask Koshiro if he is giving his girl special training on the side out of bias. He explains that he is not, and that she is also growing stronger. Kuina later overhears her father discussing with another man how a female sword fighter faces many obstacles and that he will not allow her to inherit the dojo. This clearly enrages her, and she bursts in, declaring that she will become the strongest and that she deserves to inherit it. Koshiro responded calmly, that a woman would never be able to become the best in the world. Her eyes glaze over in shock, and she walks away, stunned. Kuina is crying by the road in the middle of the night. Zoro approaches and challenges her, this time wielding real metal katana rather than the wooden shinai they had used in previous battles. Kuina accepts the challenge and enters her family shrine to retrieve the Wado Ichimonji for their duel. Zoro manages to cut some of her hair off with his second blade during their first exchange. He is visibly gasping after a while of fighting, while Kuina is not breathing heavily at all. She remarks that 2 swords must be heavy, and that he still lacks stamina. In response to Zoro's usual rude response, Kuina lunges in and disarms both of his weapons with a single upward swing. As he lies helpless on his back, she delivers the killing blow, but she deliberately plunges the sword into the ground an inch from his face. After the fight, Kuina consoles Zoro, telling him that as they grow up, Zoro will eventually surpass her. Kuina tells Zoro that a woman can never be the world's greatest swordsman. Zoro disagrees and challenges her to a duel to see who will become the world's greatest swordsman. Kuina accepts. Kuina can be seen training enthusiastically, while beating an adult male student. To increase his stamina, Zoro is seen doing another strange exercise by himself in which he holds a dumbbell in his mouth while pulling down a pair of ropes slung over a tree branch to lift a pair of boulders. It is at this point that some younger students approach him with gaunt expressions and inform him that Kuina has died. Kuina had apparently died after falling down the stairs in the storage room while looking for her katana whetstone. Following her funeral, the master thanks Zoro for joining the dojo and inspiring Kuina to train hard. Zoro requests Kuina's katana. He swears to keep his promise to Kuina to become the strongest swordsman in the world. The master gives Zoro Kuina's soul and dreams. After 8 years, Zoro leaves the dojo to fulfill his promise. Back in time, Luffy and Usopp practice shooting cannons, with Usopp hitting the target on the first try. Later in the cabin, the Straw Hat Pirates are debating whether to hire a musician or a cook. When they hear a ruckus on the board, Luffy goes out to investigate. Johnny, whose colleague was injured, is out for vengeance. Johnny's voice is familiar to Zoro. Zoro wonders why Johnny is alone and where Yosaku is.